Patrick is 250 yards big.
Yes, this is the Kaiju game, as I told you. And that was the sentence that this recording is starting off with, which could not make me happier. Hello and welcome to Cause and Effect. This is a homebrew Dungeons & Dragons campaign. My name is Crash. I will be your DM for the evening. Tonight I am joined by a bunch of awesome people. Beth, Ellie, Io, Millie, and Jen. So what happened last time?
Better now. A is better now. That's one of the things.
Well, A is mostly better now. A has been released. A has an inhaler that they use 3 times a day. And
Valid.
that's going to continue the pheromone treatment. And they'll eventually...
Did we do a recap last time?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
But not everyone was here for that. So it's still valid information. So last session was the intermission session. And there was a bit of shopping that took place. And A bought a bag of holding. Perhaps the creepiest bag of holding any of you have seen. It looks scuffed, torn in places, not all the way through. That's really bad for a bag of holding. And soaked in blood. Possibly fresh blood.
Is that not normal?
Did this bag of holding used to be a... No. The note bag of holding went to the astral plane because I used it... Got destroyed because I used it as a bomb disposal device.
And it turned out the bomb was a bluff.
cannot-
It was actually an air freshener or perfume dispenser or something, yes. This is a totally
And
different bag of
everyone
holding.
was very surprised.
Yes, everyone there was incredibly surprised about what happened, including people in the astral plane. There was a particular deity that was very shocked. But never mind about that. It's fine. That was another campaign, and there's only one kobold here. And A got the bag of holding at a steep discount because the people,
Obvious reasons.
the adventurers who found it, thought it was too creepy to keep, so they sold it to the consignment shop at also a very steep discount. A doesn't understand why no one
They
wants
did it because it was part of a crime scene. It's evidence.
It's evidence that I'm a thrifty shopper.
You're right. You're right, sweetie. It's also probably left over from a crime.
A slaps the top of the bag of holding and says, "This bad boy can fit so much mac and cheese." Then
You should do a
wipes
deep
his
clean
hand
of
off
the inside before you stick some mac and cheese in there.
Oh no, it's easy. If you want to get everything out of a bag of holding, you just turn it inside out like this.
And the world ended. What a nice campaign.
No. Turning a bag of holding inside out just takes all of its contents and places it on the ground around the bag of holding. A spends like 5
question.
minutes
Are we in
picking
public?
everything up. You're
we
in the
in
flag
public?
headquarters. You're in the flag headquarters when this happens.
Perfect. Is there any crime detritus I should remove?
No, it's fine. I mean, A has a crowbar. That might be crime detritus, but it might be to be used in a crime as opposed to has been used in a crime. Although, Cobalt.
I'm just worried about the blood.
That's an excellent question. And if Chadwick asks this question, no one knows the answer.
Can I perceive it?
Yes. Matter of fact, that's why this is a problem, because everyone has perceived it. A thinks the bloodstains make it look very Cobalt.
Was A wrong?
Is there anything I can tell about the blood? Because I just rolled a 27 on my perception check. Is there anything?
It's not fresh enough to be sticky, but not old enough to say, oh, well, that's long in the past.
Hey, A, how about we get this coat dry cleaned? Consider it just someone got injured on a job, and then we can put mac and cheese inside the bag. But first, let's get rid of someone's dirty coat.
I don't want to wreck the patina. It takes a while to build that up.
What if we have a professional clean it?
I spent my gold on this.
I can lend you a few gold for a dry cleaner.
Okay, so A gets their bag of holding dry cleaned. I'm not going to say...
And the coat!
Oh, A didn't have a coat.
What was covered in
It
blood?
doesn't come with a coat.
The bag of holding.
Bag of holding.
Okay, yeah, I got that dry cleaned. I got that dry cleaned.
Okay. A is less happy about the bag of holding now that it is clean. Well, it is still in very rough shape, but it is no longer There's stains
It's,
still. Dry clean doesn't take everything out, but it no longer looks like it was soaked in blood recently.
Yeah, so I turned to him and I'm like, look at your mac and cheese ready bag. That boy can fit so much mac and cheese. You're right.
You're right. Okay. And there was some divvying up last session of the loot from Jex, otherwise known as the anti-Chadrick. A got the Zolkun, because Zolkun, and there were some other items. Who got what?
I don't think Mech picked up anything.
Yeah,
I believe someone gave me armor.
There was some fancy armor that, if I recall, A didn't want, so I think we shoved it at the bard.
Oh yes,
Bar
and
clock.
it's in my inventory. I am now resistant to radiant damage, despite the fact that I look like I should be the opposite of that.
I mean,
I'm
you're
so
also
amazed that there's an
resistant to
anti-Chadrick.
fire damage.
I'm just amazed that there's an anti-Chadrick if you think about the fact that Chadrick, in and of himself, is against himself.
Well, here's the thing. There isn't an anti-Chadrick anymore.
I am both pro and anti-Chadrick, as Chadrick.
That's fair. Now, so far as the looting was concerned, technically, as a member of the Submarine Optimals were supposed to get first dibs on Jex's magical items. They said, we are really sorry for this inconvenience. I know we were kind of with him, but we weren't really with him. So, we're not taking this stuff. It's yours if you want it. So the party got first dibs. That didn't mean they had to take everything. There's a
What
local...
stuff is there?
Well, Hobby got the alchemy jug,
Mm,
which is probably for the best, because I don't think anyone here would ever feel the need to generate a gallon of wine.
yeah, I don't know why anyone would do that.
Or 4 gallons of beer.
You have own. This is for my Chadrick has his own.
That's
His own thing that makes beer. I want something to make the catnip tea.
But wouldn't it be fantastic if I had a nice copper thing to make a Moscow Mulin? Lots of Mulin.
Well, this is a blue alchemy jug and it's ceramic, so you can go get a copper thing yourself.
Fine, I will.
I get the catnip tea.
Anyways, what else was there?
Whoops, I didn't mean to do that.
Thank you for letting me know.
I did not do that.
Oh, that reminds me.
I need to know about this.
A also got A took Jex's disguise kit, so A now has a disguise kit, which means A can disguise themselves as a different kobold,
Ooh.
or very
about to see
poorly as
Peter
anything
now.
that isn't kobold. And Tex got it. There was some discussion about accidentally on purpose giving Chadrick a talking doll, but currently that is in possession of Tex. In D&D, talking dolls are magical, and you can program them to say things when certain events happen near them. So it takes something that is inherently creepy and makes it worse. So much worse. And now the party has one of these. The DM is slightly concerned, but still here for this content. Jex also had a magical ring, but Monty took that. Monty claimed that he was the one paying for the quest anyway, and also he got the kill on the big bad thing. So,
It's true.
yeah, so he took the ring.
It's
But he had a
true.
use for it. Didn't say what.
Yeah, well.
And then the party went to the Quest Hub Bar and Grill, which now has quests again, because they don't have a group being led by a Type A personality doing all the quests as soon as they appear. And you picked the quest about sabotage happening in the factory district, which is
Dang it.
technically called Forge Town.
When technology updates, are they going to update their name?
They don't understand the question. They're already at the height of technology. Look at all these factories.
Obviously,
They've
yes.
never been more industrial. As soon as someone says this, a smokestack behind them, maybe a half mile in the distance, crumbles to the ground.
Very good. I love that.
Move fast and break things. You can move faster if you build them so shoddily they break on their own.
That's one way to do planned obsolescence.
By the time this conversation is finished, there's another smokestack where the old one used to be. It appears to be made entirely of wood.
Um.
Good news, there's a lot of smoke.
Me, the player, am very concerned.
Anyway, there's been some sabotage in the factories. There's a lot of damage happening. They don't know why. You have taken the quest to investigate this. There is now one less smokestack.
Did someone just blow
I
up?
would like to
the
convince
smokestack?
them to stop using wood.
Wait, we've started?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, we just finished the recap.
I would like to convince them to stop using wood with my 19 persuasion check.
It's a factory like a half mile down the street. It wasn't one of the ones reporting damage.
I still... I just think that's maybe a good place to start.
Why does this have a die that I can roll?
Because depending on whether or not there are dropped packets, sometimes when somebody rolls a die, it shows up on your screen, but then never fades away.
No. I mean, why is there a die roll thing that I can click to roll my subclass?
Why not?
It popped up some. Oh, it
Mo
displays
wanted
information
to
to
give
the
you
rest of the group.
options.
I mean, it lets me roll paladin, so we're just gonna kind of let it be.
Roll for paladin.
Yep.
I'm gonna roll for rouge.
What it does is it does a
It just
description.
displays the description. Okay, that makes more sense.
Yes.
A rolls for
It's
It
rouge.
shows
having
everybody
fun.
what a
That's
paladin
burgundy.
does. Aww.
And let's see. I see. Someone rolled for soldier. Someone rolled for war.
Hello and welcome to the Foundry VTT show, where we play with Foundry.
We're very good at this.
I think what's happening right now, a version of it happens in every game that I have seen and or heard that uses Foundry VTT for their games.
Oh, whoa! What's this?
And now you're all silent again.
Boop boop.
I made roast garlic earlier today.
Ooh. Oh no.
Okay, so I fixed my audio just in time to hear that hands weren't washed properly.
Garlic.
Oh, fun. You don't need to tell me the rest of the story. I've already pieced some stuff together. So here is an ongoing problem that has occurred 3 times today. And I'm on my second set of headphones, so it's not the headphones that are the problem. I'm blaming Discord specifically, because it doesn't seem to be a
It's
problem
actually
for
just
any
my
other thing.
ability to process.
Well, it also might be my ability to process. That might also be the problem. You're right. So here's what happens. Every now and then, everyone I'm talking to in Discord goes completely silent. I can see you're talking. I can't hear you're talking. I go into Discord, and I change the setting for my headset to the same setting for my headset. And it starts to work again until it doesn't work.
Oi.
Yeah. So that's fun.
Does it keep recording when this happens?
I believe it does, because I still see the green line moving for desktop audio in OBS, and I haven't had to reset OBS at all for this. OBS is working as intended. Discord, however, is also apparently working as it was designed to work, which is not the same thing as working well. So don't be surprised if next session I'm giving you a Jitsi link or something for us to be able to voice chat. But for now, this is what we're using. Okay. I just read what Ellie wrote. Sound
Audio.
processor for Linux called...
Oh.
Yes.
Got it.
Oh.
Anyway,
I love that. The audacity that you would do such a thing. Oh dear. We need to create a petition and send it to EO's body, that EO should feel well enough to play games.
I think that we also need to forward that to Jen's face
What?
to allow you to breathe more.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, particularly
that might
Jen's
help.
nasal cavities.
They're generally not happy.
I suppose this means that a Cavill gets to bow out on account of not feeling well.
A Cavill might be
Should
doing a
not have-
side mission for Mo currently.
Yeah.
That should work.
Cavill, possibly Bamf says something about having something they need to do, and Bamf's out.
Cavill says, I must go. My patron needs me.
And you're just kind of
Yeah.
just flying around the top of the rooftops, chasing birds. It's very important.
Actually, to go with the reference
Okay,
that I made,
no.
Cavill has the boots of flying, so Cavill could just go straight up out of the scene.
Well, the thing is yes, and I'm just imagining that your patron, just to get you out of his hair for one freaking moment, told you to count all the pigeons in the area.
No. That doesn't work because anytime Mo thinks, well, what's Cavil doing right now? Mo immediately perceives what Cavil is perceiving.
Mm-hmm.
So if Mo gives...
That's unfortunate.
Yes. Mo hates every moment of this.
Every moment like this.
If Mo gives Cavil a boring, monotonous task, Cavil will do it willingly, I'm sure, and Mo will regret it.
You have to take a cool selfie with every single one of the birds.
One selfie
And
is
so
taken
it
next
gets to
to
watch the...
one selfie is taken next to a bird professor at a university, and things go south very quickly.
But the thing is
The
I
teeth
think
were never
I think
found.
it would be great. Also, the bird was very mad to have this sense of Mo. Paige does not like Mo.
Well, whoever said that Cavil would say who their patron was?
You think that Paige with the undead hands wouldn't be able to sense some mess up for you?
I think Paige, who keeps undead hands in her hood, I've seen the fan art that you commissioned, wouldn't be able to smell anything past the rotting, decayed flesh.
Fine.
You'd have to roll really high on the perception check.
I bet Paige could do it.
I love how we cannot do a single game, and this, please be assured, this is not a complaint. I'm loving this. We cannot do a single game without referencing a previous campaign. It is impossible.
There's been a lot, though. There's been a lot of previous.
Well, yes,
campaigns.
since 2017.
Yeah.
And actually, none of you was in that campaign. Well, Jen was eventually, but in 2017,
Yeah.
Jen wasn't.
Right.
Okay, so Cavil bamps off to do a thing for Mo. So you loaded up the character sheet just to do a perception check. I'm sorry, 19 is not high enough, and that was not a disadvantage.
Oh.
Undead hands in your face. You are rolling a disadvantage
Fine.
for a smell-based perception check.
Excuse me, are you going to tell me I don't have smell powers when I've tracked pee?
Your
Oh my.
hedgehog tracks
Fast
pee.
again.
And I
Yeah.
don't know how to
So
feel
many
about that being
castrolls.
canon.
Yep.
And so
And
can
also,
kestrels.
if I remember correctly, that was before your hedgehog became a vessel for your patron.
Actually, no. I don't think so.
Because your hedgehog became a vessel for your patron in the very late game.
Oh, that's true. So wouldn't that mean it's stronger because it has a little bit more oomph?
Quicklings are not known for wanting to sniff out urine. They're more along the lines of,
be
no
boring.
one will ever know if I pee while I'm running. I'll be gone too quickly.
Well, I mean, quick.
And I made another Game Grumps reference.
No.
I'm a horrible person.
Do you think Sonic poops fast?
Don't I know it? And we're a half hour into the recording.
Pretty much, yeah.
And as much
Mhm.
applause we've gotten
Yeah.
is the recap, and oh, by the way, that smokestack fell down, was built back up, burned down, and has probably at this point, the third one has sunk into a swamp after falling over.
But there's such large tracts of land. But anyways, with my 19 or whatever that I had rolled, I would like to at least begin convincing some people. I understand maybe I won't get everyone, but some people to stop using wood to build their smokestacks.
It was a wooden smokestack?
Yes, that's why it keeps falling down.
No, the replacement smokestack that was hastily built because they needed a smokestack was made of wood. And
You can still see how that's bad, right?
Chadrick, the GM, definitely sees why that's bad. Absolutely. The factory workers who built it now also see why it was a bad idea. They didn't see it at first. It was a learning opportunity for everyone involved.
Thank you.
Yep.
Because, yeah, Chadrick might be a bit of a doofus, but, you know, in the future, there's probably, like, laws, and that's probably part of, like, normal education curriculum is why you shouldn't do that.
Yes,
And
but
so-
Because it's flammable!
here's the thing, though. The island city of Flotsam is incredibly libertarian.
No,
The
and
main
that's
laws
why
they
Chadrick was
have-
like, wait, Let me use my education here.
The main laws they have were really only put in place after somebody used wall of fire twice inside a children's theater.
I
And they
really
were
wondered
very-
who that was.
And they were very specifically written to target that particular group of retired adventurers.
I can't imagine who gave a young cat child PTSD that has to do with fire.
I have no idea. Some random person the kind of person who would build a forge in the middle of a city street. I don't think anyone would do that, but that would be that kind of person.
No one would. No
Yeah.
one would.
Because we live in a society. I'm going to have to edit that pause back in because that bit of silence afterwards was hilarious. Anyway, you are in the factory district. You have been given the addresses of several factories that have been vandalized recently, but there's different words that have been used, different verbs that have been used. Vandalize is one of them, sabotage is another. They don't know who's doing it or why. There's some suggestion that it might be done magically. Otherwise, you've been told, go here and find out.
I guess we should look around at the last thing that was sabotaged.
Okay.
Is it the same stuff that gets sabotaged all the time?
Well, you're going to find out, I'm sure. The last place to get sabotaged was a place that mass produces cast iron pans. They're planning They're planning to expand. Well, they were before the sabotage. They're calling it sabotage. They wanted to start doing Dutch ovens. Oh my gosh, Ellie, I can't. Oh my gosh, yes, the pink elephant and A are overlapping. So on your screen it says pink elephant eye.
Oh my god. Anyways, also, no, that's horrible.
I can't get out of bed. I have pink eye. You should at least be able to move around. Not this kind of pink eye.
Also, do they even have how do they know what the word Dutch is?
Same way,
Why do they
you have
still
a
call
duke, you
them
have a duchess.
earthquakes?
Because the ground is the earth.
It's in whatever
What is it?
common language is on Circulus. They have a different name for it, but we're translating everything into English for this game, and in English, it's called a Dutch oven.
I completely understand. I'm just imagining that then, when it's translated back into common, it's actually like
Like putting it through Google
Yes.
Translate twice, yes.
yes. I
Which
just
is always
I'm
hilarious.
enjoying that.
And then it's turned into a song, I'm sure. But in any case,
I know
that's
that
what they've been
reference.
building at that factory. And the foreman is very happy to see that Band of Adventurers has picked up the quest because it's starting to get really annoying. This has been happening for a couple weeks
It's only
now,
been this factory that
actually. Oh no, it's a bunch of factories that have been hit. At first, they were thinking it was rust monsters. Not that any rust monsters have been seen on the island before, but they were pretty sure it was rust monsters, so they did all the safety precautions, which pretty much involved replacing the metal doors with wooden doors so they couldn't come in.
Oh.
And that didn't stop them. So maybe they're coming up through the
That's weird.
sewers. I mean, you don't mind sewer quests, right? They might be coming up through the sewers.
I think we already did one of those.
Wouldn't be the first time.
yeah,
I really need
Good
to
thing
pick up
Pavel's not here.
prestidigitation.
one of you would have extreme PTSD about sewer quests right now.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to ask or attempt to do at this factory?
What was what has been being sabotaged?
Well,
Like,
they point to a large pile of crumbling, rusted debris.
I can't believe we have a specialty. It's figuring out people doing dumb crap.
Thank you for changing that at the
Anyway.
last moment.
You're
There's a
very
big pile
welcome.
the big pile of rusted debris is the crucible in which they would melt all of the iron before pouring it into the casts. That's not there anymore. It's just a pile of maybe not enough rust to, if you reconstitute it, make a giant crucible.
Let's see.
Hmm.
So you get a perception check, and you get a perception check. No, this one's a 14.
With a 14, you feel like you need a tetanus shot by looking at that.
I mean, that's very, very fair.
Oh my.
Oh,
Tex got a 5.
so Tex, are you aware that we're inside of a factory?
No, probably not.
These walls the sky is very close.
Tex is like, you couldn't just take the melted iron directly out of the forge and pour it in with your hands? Why would you need a crucible?
So when did this happen?
Well, this happened last night.
Were there any guards?
Who would... No. Guards cost money. We just lock the doors and go home.
Were the doors unlocked when you got here?
Nope.
Locked room mystery.
Is he
All right,
That's what
what-
we call it these days.
It is now.
So I see perception checks
Is
from
he
Chadwick
lying?
and Tex and Mech.
Those were from before. At least those first two.
No, I'm looking at the most recent ones from the past minute or so.
Yeah, mine was the original one about that I did before.
Yes, I would like Hobby to attempt a perception check as well.
Perception or
Oh.
investigation?
Perceive.
Either.
I'll take perception. I think I'll take perception. Normal?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, that's a 12.
I have 2 check marks by it. I have 2 check marks by perception. What does that mean?
You had a
Expertise,
+2 and
okay.
a +6.
Okay,
So
that would probably
it took
mean
your
what
roll
is.
up to 12.
Wow, that was a crappy roll.
Yep. Yes, it was. So you're not really getting a lot of information here. But good news, there's more than one factory.
Yes, is this the only damage that's been done to this factory?
Well, so far as infrastructure, yeah. Also, a lot of our iron stock disappeared too.
So theft as well.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Didn't touch the pans we made though, so that was nice.
There would have been pandemonium otherwise.
No, that's when you hand them to too many tieflings.
There's one of the workers who apparently is covered in black and white fur just glares at Chadwick and says, "I resent that." Someone has discovered they can write on my map.
It's me, I did. I have discovered this.
You're
yes.
welcome. It's a good thing that this is not a video recording. I mean, I am using OBS, but I'm not recording the map. There was nothing bad recorded. There was nothing bad on the map, but still.
It's the principle of the matter.
It's
Huh,
the
I
principle
can't
of how
see
much
it.
power
Oh, well.
do you want
Oh,
to
I
give
erased
to the
it.
players.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was fine. It was, so far as I could tell, safe for work. But never mind about that.
So they didn't take the worked pan. Where were the pans kept?
He motions towards
The ones that
there's a pile of cast iron pans that are just, they're not even on shelves. They're just stacked in a pile.
Okay, so what's different between the iron that got taken and the pans that didn't?
Iron got taken wasn't pans.
Yeah, probably because it was already worked.
Some people
Worked,
just don't know
worked,
quality,
worked,
I guess.
Worked. Look at all their work.
Or they want to reforge something themselves. Okay, let's go look at the other places that have been raided or sabotaged or whatever.
Okay. As you're heading to the next place, A pulls on Hobby's sleeve.
Yes?
I'm not sure about the wanted to work it themselves thing. Anytime you melt iron, or most metals actually, to use it for things, you make it better. If they wanted higher quality iron, they should have taken the pans.
So you're saying they wanted crappy iron?
Sounds weird, doesn't it?
I mean, maybe it is rust monsters and they thought it was tastier, but they destroyed the forge, the crucible, but they didn't destroy the pans.
Did you see the state of that factory?
Think.
They were just stacking
Um,
things.
Yeah.
What if they just misplaced it, like dodos?
I mean, they could have, but there's a lot of factories on this list.
Maybe
But-
maybe the unworked iron was easier to run away with because it was not just stacked in a noisy pile.
Maybe it was in crates or
I mean, if it was-
something, so they could take the crates, or
Or ingots so they could just sort of pick it up and load it on something.
okay. So I like this brown circle that's been placed on the map because it looked like a coffee stain.
Okay, I'll put it back.
Like, all right, who took my good map and used it as a coaster? I put coasters on
Well,
the
it's better
coffee
that than
table
the
for you. What's the point in inviting you over into my virtual home to play D&D if you're going to wreck my good maps?
I just like the little monsters you have in the corner over here.
What little
The
I don't know
corners.
what you're talking about.
Anyway.
I told you it's the kaiju game. You're all giants. That's why there's a
Yes.
Tarrasque and a Tiamat.
Oh, that's good. Anyways, I rolled a 19 on a history check. Want to know if I remember hearing about this?
Okay,
Oh,
so what I love about
Sneaky.
this is I know why you took the skill you did when you leveled up, because you told me. But what your plan is you want to know a lot of history about a time thousands of years in the past that at the time you did not know you were going to be stuck in. I'm not saying I'm disallowing this. I'm saying this is funny. It's very
suddenly getting a
serendipitous.
flashback of hanging out with my dad as he tells me the history of like our hero lineage from thousands of years back. I was named after the first one. His name is Chadrick the Cool Guy.
You're sitting in a classroom, and by classroom I mean the living room has been cleared out a little bit, and there's one desk put in the middle of it, and a chalkboard has been hastily attached to the wall. And your dad is smacking the chalkboard with a long pointy stick saying, "Now listen up, this is important. Someday you're going to need to know this history lesson." And then there's a lot of wah 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 that you just sort of like glaze over because history lesson and Chadrick. But there was something about that can't be right.
When I was a little kid, I just wanted to make my dad proud.
Yes, but also history lesson.
Yeah.
And your dad's lessons about like making jewelry and stuff were like really involved and really cool. The religion lessons and the history lessons were not as cool. I had to throw a Final Fantasy reference in there too, because even though I don't play it,
Yeah, that's
it's
fair.
funny to me. Yes. We will not comment on the state of dress that your father was in at the time he was giving the lecture.
Mm-hmm.
And then your mom comes in holding a cast iron pan with the Flotsam, Maiden Flotsam logo on it.
Yeah,
Which I believe is still a Final Fantasy reference.
probably. I can't believe that this worked.
So the information you're getting is there are more things that deal with rust than just rust monsters. Most of them were created. So you're looking for something artificial.
I'm gonna sound so smart when I relay this information. Is there anything else I remember from that history lesson about my ancestor who is also me?
I will be upset. I will be very, very upset if you actually end up being your great smash cut.
That's the joke
or
I
time
made
lapse or
earlier.
whatever grandfather.
That's the joke I was making earlier about like that's why like my dad made sure to teach me history lessons because I was named after the original Chadrick McCool guy, the beginner of our line.
I mean, technically speaking, you have already put events in motion that will probably prevent you from being born.
That's great. That's good.
Yeah, there's a movie about that, isn't there?
Yes, except
That's
we're doing
true.
multiverse instead of single timeline.
Right.
So
you,
yeah,
you don't vanish from a photograph slowly.
Right, exactly.
But yeah, so Chadrick McCool guy. I turn to the others and I'm like, I know this sounds crazy, but I think I remember this in my heroes history lessons. I don't remember all of it because I was a little kid and it was old history, but I think that there's something funky going on, like an artificial thing. Wait, do you think this means it's connected to like all of those warframe that were getting mangled and mongled and jangled and jangled and jongled?
We found the Warforged that someone was trying to
Who
Yeah,
said
there
that
was
they
a
were
Kenku
done?
doing that.
Who said that the plot to mangle some folks is done?
Well, you killed the Kenku involved.
Well, who said they were the only one?
maybe.
Also, I think I remember hearing about because my mom actually had a freaking cast iron pan from that factory. It was like a family thing, and it was something about artificial. Like it's sometimes an artificial thing.
Maybe we'll get some clues at the next factory.
Yeah,
We should go look.
Good plan.
but like guys, I remembered something.
Yay!
Oh,
I'm
I
very
don't
happy.
feel like
for
Patrick,
you.
are you sober?
I don't feel like you guys appreciated that. I am. Thank you very much.
You'll notice that the pink elephant is
You're
nowhere near
sober?
Chadwick on the map. Actually, here we go.
Concerning.
No one sees the pink elephant now.
I feel like this is concerning.
It probably is. I'll make sure to drink before we get into combat, but like right now.
Combat starts. Chadwick says, "Wait, time out."
Chugs the flask. Okay, I'm ready.
Hobby, your alchemy jug. Quick, I need it.
The catnip will mix well with the gin.
You end up asking for the
Let's
wrong
go.
thing. You drink 6 gallons of vinegar.
Ugh.
I mean, that'll wake you up in a different way.
A slight trace
As
of
someone
vinegar
who-
because you haven't properly rinsed your coffee machine will wake you up just fine. Thank you very much.
Oh no.
Oh no!
Oh,
Ew,
no.
ew, ew.
As somebody who tastes vinegar at work every day, yeah, I think
Oh,
that'll
no.
do it. I think that'll-
Descaling directions will say run 2 carafes through the machine to rinse it out. 2 is not enough. 2 is never enough.
Oh,
I mean,
oh,
it's
no.
enough that you won't poison yourself or anything if you're using like a commercial descaler, but it's not enough to prevent you from smelling it or tasting it. Yes. Anyway, that disturbing imagery aside, let's switch to more disturbing imagery. I only said that for the out of context quote. You get to the next factory, and they are a factory that makes thingamabobs.
What
Do
is
they
a
got 20?
thingamabob?
What about 20?
Oh, well, actually, they are fresh out because they had a lot of specialized machinery that
Who
is
cares?
all wrecked.
No big deal. I want more.
I love this. I love all this. They don't even know what the thingamabobs did. They were made specifically for one of the inventors in the Ogmanite Enclave. They kept ordering more and more. So eventually, instead of getting them made bespoke, a factory was set up to mass produce them. But
I
there's
wanna
been
be
enough
The
worker
thingamabobs
turnover.
are-
Nobody remembers what they're for.
I
Well,
want to see.
the people who were making them bespoke
Where's
have
Dance?
moved on to doing more interesting things, because if you're someone who is crafting things to order to meticulous specifications one at a time, and that's fun for you, working on a factory floor is less fun. So they trained their replacements gladly and took other positions. But the people here barely understand how it's put together. They put raw materials on one side, and then components come out the other side. They put those components in another machine. Those come out clean. They put those components in another machine. Those come out assembled, and then they put those in a box and send them to the Ogmanite Enclave. Except all 3 of those machines are
Except-
crashed now.
Where are the components for the thingamabobs?
Oh, they're
The-
right here.
Go inspect the components.
Okay.
Are they made out of metal?
They're mostly made of metal. There's some wood in there. It's mostly copper, and there's some aluminum. Maybe some silver and gold. That could be painted.
But not iron.
No, there's no iron in them at all.
Was there iron in the machines?
In the machines, they were made of it.
Presumably. That's what I meant. Yep. Go inspect the way that they are trashed. You know, has this been cleaned up, or is this lying?
This factory got hit a couple nights ago. So they have cleaned up.
Mhm.
And by cleaned up, I mean all of the rusted scrap has been swept into a corner.
Mm.
And a do not touch sign has been placed on top of the pile. It may have been like put on like a stick, and then the stick stuck into the pile, but the stick has fallen over. It looks like someone just rolled a nat 1. Actually, no, that was a 17. Tex has rolled a 21. Tex, as you are investigating... Oh, and that's a nat 20. Chadrick with the nat 20.
Hello, Chadwick.
Chadrick
I know you couldn't
perceives...
see it, but I actually just raised both my hands, like in person.
Oh,
I was like, yeah.
I am
Two
gesturing
hands up.
constantly when I'm narrating. I've been recording tutorial videos for my students, and I'm like leaning close to the mic, pulling farther away, gesturing with my hands constantly. I'm not using a camera. I'm screen recording. So none of that matters. But so
And yet-
Chadrick, I'm gonna mention this briefly, and then I'm gonna go to what Tex sees, and then I'm gonna come back to Chadrick. Chadrick perceives. Imagine, if you will, the camera is a close-up shot of Chadrick, and it does that thing where it doesn't change its distance from Chadrick, but the depth of field changes drastically, so the background looks weird when it moves when Chadrick isn't moving, and then it's replaced with like scenes of nebulas flying past, and some guy in a black turtleneck going, "Mind blown!" with gestures superimposed on top of Chadwick coming past. And that goes on
So
for about a
cool.
minute, and everyone just sees Chadwick staring into space and just moves on with their life for a little while.
They're
But
used to
Chadwick's
it.
having a great moment. Or a terrifying moment. I'll let Chadwick decide, because Chadwick is sober.
True. Hadn't thought about that.
Yeah. Is this what being sober is like? Do not want. So Ellie wrote, I have a specific question in mind to ask. Are the machines destroyed by impact damage, or does it look like they've aged or corroded in an unusual amount of time? That is an excellent question. And the answer to those is neither. But the
Cool.
second one is closer, because as Tex is investigating the scene, Tex notices there's a lot of staining of the ground around where the machines are. The stains lead off towards the various drains in the factory, where apparently these machines were working. So what's the point in maintaining them if they're working? Maintenance is for something that's broken. So they were steadily corroding more and more over time. Apparently the machine that washed the components, that middle step, was way more damaged than the other two because it was being filled with water and cleaning solution every time. But that's your best guess. But you're made of metal, so that's something that would be fresh in your mind. So they were probably in a sorry state of repair before something took place. Now, Chadwick comes back from his moment of exploring the galaxy
It was great.
and looks up and sees that, like many factories in the area, it has skylights. Why skylights? Because sunlight is free. These skylights have apparently been as well maintained as the machinery, which is to say that a lot of them have panes
Not
that
as
have
fair.
broken out. But there's one really big hole in one of the skylights.
I can't believe that they got away with this due to the question of look up. Like, that no one ever looks up. Like, I'm
No one
I'm
ever
surprised there
looks
isn't like a creature just kind of like pinned to the ceiling looking back and forth.
And for the record, if any of you had gotten above a 15, you would have noticed a broken skylight in the first one.
Figures.
Okay.
I mean,
So, yeah.
I feel like Hobby's going to go back and look for for this later
Dang it, I'm so sad that EO wasn't feeling well.
because
Flown
we
right
need
through it. Flown right through it.
You,
Um
So what happens is Cavill flies up through the broken skylight to look for clues, and then Cavill realizes that the broken skylight that they just flew through is the clue.
is the clue.
Yes. Also, there's
Yeah,
a lot of
so,
broken glass in with the rusted remains that are over in the corner.
Gosh,
The do not
Chadrick's
touch this
really
sign
bringing
has
his
been
A
stabbed
game today. Man, Chadrick is bringing his A game. So he turns and he's like, there's a hole in the ceiling. Like, I mean, the skylights, yeah, they're kind of broken, but one of those is very, very intentional. And if you look there, you see that they broke the glass to get in. They're coming through the ceilings.
So they're flying
So we got
rust
flying
monsters.
rust monsters.
Jinx, you owe me a soda. As soon as sodas get invented.
That's
High
it.
five. High five.
Well, for Hobby, it's a low five.
Close enough.
Chadrick doesn't remember when soda was invented.
It turns out Chadwick went back in time to invent soda. This is Chadwick's new mission. Non-alcoholic
You
beer,
know it.
otherwise known as soda.
Well, yeah, Chadrick is taking their personal family history. Oh! I really like the broken glass noise it makes whenever there's a nat 1.
Hobby wants to go back and look to see if there's a broken skylight over where they were storing the iron that was about to be used, and one over the crucible. And is there not one over the pan? Is whatever's happening coming in straight through and not wandering around?
So the first factory also had one of their skylights had a giant hole in it. The others were not very good condition. When you reforge iron, when you melt it down, all of the iron oxide floats to the top with the slag. It gets taken off of the iron. So
Right.
the pans were fresh made. Therefore, they wouldn't have a lot of rust on them, even if they were left open under a broken skylight.
It wants stuff that's already a little rusty.
Apparently,
It's
so.
rust monsters who want pre-digested rust.
Well, rust monsters have those long antennae things, right? And when they touch
Right.
metal,
Right.
those things turn the metal to rust, and then they eat it. What if a rust monster found a genie and traded, or maybe like a sea witch or something, and traded their antennae for wings or a parachute?
Maybe. But you'd think they could just eat the locks out.
Yeah, but the doors are wood.
What if the Ogmanites made a rust monster that could only like clean up rust, off of things, and it got away from them? Maybe it's tiny. How big are the holes in the skylight? The ones that we think that they're coming in through?
Yeah, how big are they?
Cavill could fly through them easily without fear of getting cut on the broken glass on the edges.
Okay, so they're not like cat-sized rust monsters bred to eat pre-digested food.
On the other hand, if a cat-sized rust monster
Darn.
did fly through the middle of one of these skylights, they would take out the wooden supports that put the different panes of glass together. So maybe they could make a bigger hole that way. It's seeing the hole, you know an upper limit to its size. You don't know a smaller limit to its size.
True.
Yes, Ellie. What about Tex or Mech so far as who could fly through easily? If Tex or Mech is flying through a skylight, I believe the correct verb to replace flying with is falling with style.
Well, it depends on if they're
That's-
going up or down. Sorry.
I could have a rocket.
You could have a rocket, yes. And the DM is terrified of the moment where Tex has a rocket, but would still probably let Tex have the rocket anyway because funny.
I mean, yeah.
That door would open very quickly.
Would it be opened or forcibly removed?
Potato. Let's not call this whole thing off.
That's fair.
The door would turn into potatoes.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I have concerns.
Now, Hobby, when you went looking at the skylights in the first factory, did you do so from the ground level?
Ooh. First looked at them from the ground level just to see if there was anything indicating that, like, the light shining on the stuff was what was destroying it, or something coming straight through the skylight and straight up again. If that doesn't seem to be the case, yeah, honestly, there might be something that was on the roof. So, hey, want to go climbing?
Is there a chance I will fall to my inevitable end?
We can put a rope. Do you want me to go up first, and I'll drop a rope, and you can use and I'll anchor the rope, and you can use the rope to help you climb up?
No, I'm a brave Rouge. I will attempt this.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. I'm going to be underneath him, like on the ground, ready.
On belay!
So what do I roll for climbing up a acrobatics
Chadwick?
or athletics?
Chadwick.
Yeah.
It would be acrobatics.
Yeah.
Chadwick, I would
Okay.
like you to make a dexterity or acrobatics roll.
Let me see. Just a check or a save?
Check. You're not the one who's risking damage.
Nope.
Do you want to
Okay.
use your inspiration? Do you have inspiration?
Do I have inspiration?
That's the thing to check. Let's find out. Survey
I don't-
says...
yes, I do.
Yes, you
I'm
do.
going to use my inspiration.
On that nat one.
13.
Okay. With a 13, I'll let you pick. Who do you catch? Hobby or A?
A.
A. Duh.
Hobby? You take 1 point
you're
of
completely
damage from
silent.
falling. I went silent because I was rolling a die.
Okay. So
You
I
take 1 point of
subtract
damage
1 from this.
From falling. A also falls, but A falls into the arms of Chadwick.
That is as it should be. Right.
Then A immediately goes squirmy because
Athletics.
A did not ask for uppies.
I
can
put
do
A
this.
down. I believe in you. I'm just making
And I
sure
was-
you don't fall on the ground.
And I will say specifically, A goes squirmy in the way that a cat goes squirmy when a cat does not want to be held.
I know that works. What am I rolling? These are crappy rolls.
You,
Yeah, we're
you
not
have
doing
rolled a
great
13 twice. No one can climb this. One of the factory workers comes outside the fourth time one of you falls and says, "So, are you trying to get on the roof?"
There are stairs inside, aren't there?
No, we've got a ladder though.
Can we please borrow your ladder to see if something is coming
Me
in
up
through
on
the roof?
roof. I'm already up on the roof.
It's a ladder
Chadrick,
that is
they're
bolted
gonna
to the
murder you.
wall and goes up to a hatch.
I got a nat 20.
Hey, do you want to tie Chadrick's shoelaces together when he's asleep?
I've had that done to me, which was really weird because I don't wear shoes. And I really don't wish that on anyone.
Yeah, but do we... I'm going to
So,
put
yeah.
vinegar in beer.
What's on the ceiling? What's on the roof?
On the roof, there is broken glass. Not as much as what would be required to like repair. Like you couldn't take this broken glass and fill in all the holes.
What the heck? What the heck?
Chadrick, did you roll another 20? You pill.
That's your third nat 20 tonight.
Give me your dice. I want your dice. Yes, Chadrick is hogging the high rolls.
Okay, and Ellie has written in chat because the investigating is not going well so far as Tex is concerned. Although you got one of the higher rolls you got the first high roll for finding out what was going on. You did have that going on. Repairs.
Yeah, and then I asked the wrong question.
Oh.
But I gave you the right answer anyway. Because in trying to find out if either of those was the right thing, you got the information for, oh, well, it wasn't this because this, which was a clue.
The other reason I'm staying off the roof is that if I miss a dexterity check and fall through one of these windows, there aren't going to be machines left.
That's fair.
That's very fair.
There might not be a factory
Wait,
left.
there's
I've already told you how well these are built.
There's glass on the roof.
Maybe it...
If there's glass,
I mean, there was grass on the ground, too.
Anyway,
yeah, but if there's glass on the roof, then either something was trying to pull glass out of the broken...
Or they jumped up.
Right, either something inside jumped up, or else something on the roof was pulling glass away from a smaller hole to make it bigger, as opposed to knocking it inside the...
to complete the thought for listeners, since I'm not doing great with the investigating, and since being on the roof would be dangerous for me, I'm going to see if I can help with repairs.
There is nothing that you could repair. You're pretty sure that if you knew the mending cantrip, you still wouldn't be able to repair what's left.
Okay, then I'll hang out and see if I can catch anyone who falls off.
Thank you, that's very kind of you.
So yeah, I
Tex
got
is
a
holding a
28
giant
perception
trampoline.
check.
On your perception. Yes,
Can
got
we just
28 on your perception.
Can we just take a moment to appreciate the image of Tex holding one of those giant trampolines from old-timey things about firefighters? But Tex is the only person holding it because you only need Tex to hold it.
Yeah.
And Tex keeps looking up and then like maybe moving over a foot, then moving back a foot as people are walking around above.
I mean, that could help there too. Mix around, right?
And then two people who are on the roof
Technically.
walk in different directions, and Tex takes a moment to try to weigh options.
Hobby is theoretically a cat and should theoretically land on her feet, so,
Yes, Hobby would
Protect
land
A.
on her feet in the pile of rust and broken glass. It's fine. It's only one corner.
she'll be fine, really.
You need
Yeah.
a tetanus shot halfway
Obviously.
down.
Yeah, she'll be fine. Anyway,
Also, we've been playing for about an hour. What do you say we take a short break?
Are we
Before
never
you-
gonna know what I see with
With
my
that-
special eyes?
I will
with
tell
your
you
nat
what you
20
see when we
perception
get back.
check.
Okay. Is it a pink elephant?
No,
Undoubtedly.
you do not see the pink elephant unless you're drunk. All right, and we're back. And as promised, I will reveal what I was going to reveal before the commercial break. There were no commercials, but before the commercial break, everyone sat and wrapped attention and watched all the commercials and then forgot what they were watching.
We
and
didn't
changed
have any
channels.
commercials.
Yeah, there were no commercials.
Don't give away the secrets.
The commercials were inside you all along.
The
Why
commercials
did you eat
happen
those?
at the end.
That's
Don't
terrifying.
eat those.
That
Those
is
are
a-
bad.
that's some like dystopia stuff. Crash.
It's it's a cyberpunk dystopia.
You're going to sleep and your dreams become like advertisements.
It was cybernetic brain enhancements as a service. You got the freemium ones. You keep getting asked to upgrade. I don't like this future
I don't like it either. Why did you bring it to me?
because
I'd like
I
to
can't
return
be
it.
the only one. I can't be the only one with this thought process in my head. Ellie, what have you found? That amuses me more than it should. Okay, back to this. What you also find is spatterings of rust and metal fragments heading off in a direction.
Not a direction.
Yes, a direction, as opposed to all over the place, which means
What did my special eyes see?
you found a trail.
So you see rust. Yep.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Can I follow it through smell?
No, you can follow it through sight.
Oh my gosh!
You can attempt to follow it through smell. I've got some bad news for you. You're in a city. You're in a
Everything
fantasy
smells.
city. Yes, there are many odors, and you're in the factory district. Most of them are bad.
Surround. You're right.
You take a deep breath. You spend 5 minutes hacking.
Do they keep going that direction, or like, can I watch them stop, or is it like they go out of my vision?
It goes right off the edge of the roof.
What was it?
Hobby
It was
is going to climb down the roof there.
It was a trail of little
Was
bits
it a
of
little
metal
guy?
and piles of iron oxide.
Okay. Oh! I got a spell
Hobby
that's useful.
cannot make a dex roll to save her life.
I got a spell that's useful.
I'm not
Wait.
requiring dex rolls to climb down ladders. And you have a ladder.
Okay, true. She will use the ladder.
Well, let me revise.
I tell everyone.
I'm not going to require dex roll for this ladder. Ladders in the future are on the
Yeah.
table. What's Chadwick doing?
Mm-hmm.
I'm casting locate object.
What are you trying to locate?
The thing that just disappeared.
Which thing disappeared?
Do you think I remember words? You know, the thing that just went off the roof in a direction after I get everyone
It's-
together and go,
Trail.
run.
The trail.
Yeah, after I tell everyone like, oh snap, crackle, pop, something just left the roof. We gotta go. I'm
Well,
gonna
It's a
I know that's gonna waste valuable time, so I'm gonna forget what I was doing. So I'm going to then locate it.
well, this is kind of a ship of Theseus moment, except that instead of replacing every part of the ship was just taken apart and turned into something else. So
Yeah,
If you
but
use
since I
locate
was within
object-
30 feet of it,
if you use locate object, the first thing you realize is that the trail itself is the crucible. It is what's left of it. However, for 30 feet, you are able to detect more of it, which helps you
I have
do a better
1,000
job
feet.
of tracking. 1,000
I
feet?
I can sense the direction within 1,000 feet. The 30 feet is how close it has to be for me to be able to track a specific thing.
Okay. So here's what takes place. Stuff that fell to
Gosh,
the
Chadwick's
street
on
level has been stepped on and scattered to the 9 winds. So, or 12 winds, or 18 winds, or however many winds there are that day. It depends on if it was chilly night or not. But the rooftops don't get a lot of frequent travel. So the rooftops, like the rooftop of that factory next door, yeah, the trail's on there too. That factory after the first factory, trail's on that too. And it's mostly in a straight line.
I'm gonna follow it for 1,000 feet.
You walk off the edge of the factory and swan dive to your death. No, I'm assuming you get the ladder and go down, act like a civilized human being who's not trying to commit suicide.
Yeah, I'm not actively trying to die.
That's a good plan. We should keep that plan. I like that plan.
But that's the thing is that since it has to just be within 1,000 feet, as long as I know, I can also just do it on the ground.
So you don't need to keep climbing
Just
up on
walk
top
on
of
the
one
ground.
factory, the next factory. The next factory is 1,001 feet tall.
Don't.
I am not doing that to you. Also, I'm not doing that to this world. With how well built I have already made these factories be canonically, I would fear for the
Don't make it
city if I made 1,001 foot tall factory. This factory would not be long for this world.
Exactly.
It'd be long, though. It'd be
It would
too
be
long for this
yes.
world. It'd be too long for this world.
So Ellie has written, I hope someone came and got text before everybody left. They all came down the ladder, so
Yes.
they would have definitely seen you with a trampoline and said, okay, we got a trail. Text roll out.
Can I sit on the trampoline? That's the thing is I wanted to go downstairs. I wanted to tell everyone, and then I wanted to locate the object and follow the path. And I'm going to sit on the trampoline that you have, Tex. Thank you so
The
much.
trampoline actually belongs to the factory workers. They have it for their Thursday night get-togethers.
That's respectable. I'm just, I'll figure out a way to do my job and also somehow get my laziness points out.
At some point, we see the rest of the party is dragging a porta potty down the street, and every now and then the door opens and a hand point sticks out and says, "That way," and it closes again.
Sounds about right.
I mean, that's my
Yeah.
natural habitat.
Apparently so.
Porta potties?
This,
I've been locked in enough.
yes, of your own volition.
True.
Actually, this is a
Exactly.
horrible idea that I'm sure you would not do, because if the party is dragging this down a street, we would see occasionally blue water slushing out from around the door.
Ew.
Oh.
And
Oh no.
Chadwick has already gone through that once. There was a barrel roll.
It was horrible. So I put the baby Bjorn on Tex and then climb into it.
It's been stretched out enough that you can probably fit it around you, yes. The question is, does Tex let you do this?
Septic tanks of holding.
You know what? I would not be surprised if Flotsam Porta Potties did have septic tanks of holding, and every now and then you just see one and everything in 30 feet of it just disappear.
Don't drop your bag of holding in the septic tank.
They just wanted to
holding.
get their reading material out of the bag of holding while they were in there, and whoop! It's worse than dropping your phone.
Oh,
Far
I-
worse.
I don't think I persuaded Tex to let me do it unless Tex wants to roll against me.
I'm fairly. This is a case where I would say the player playing that character would make the decision as opposed to just letting you roll to control that other character. Leaf lid closed while any extra dimensional objects are open. Yes, but
Tex
this
has-
is Flotsam. They would not read that.
no.
Oh my gosh,
The-
I'm sorry.
The Flotsam citizens would be the one that
This-
put the label there, and they would also decide not to read it. Yes?
It's
It
not
doesn't have-
about it. It's
it
not
doesn't
about
have-
it not happening. It's about liability.
True. But the thing is that if it doesn't have to do with not catching things on fire, they don't care.
Whoops.
If
Other
it has to do
rules
with
would
not
be-
catching things on fire, they also don't care.
The question is, well, they asked 2 questions before making laws. 3 questions. Did this affect me directly? Will this affect me directly? Will this prevent me from doing something? And after they get those 3 answers, they decide if they're going to write a law. I did not make Flotsam to be a utopia. I sincerely never
Right.
had that as a goal. I don't like making utopias because they're not as fun. Also, they tend to be dystopias. Every single time someone makes a utopia, it's a dystopia. You just haven't found the problem yet.
I was cry laughing. That was beautiful.
Okay, so you are following the trail, and it goes cold, but then you cast Find Object again. How is Find Object a cantrip, or do you have to use spell slots for that?
I use spell slots for it.
How many? What level spell is it?
How many do I need? It's a level 2.
It's level 2. Okay, let's put it this way: it's a big city. Little
But
kobolds
if the
in a big
object is
city.
in motion, is it in motion?
Nope. Every bit of
It's-
the object is
It's just been
stationary.
going straight.
Well, except for the parts that have been
Fine.
like,
Straight.
trod upon the road.
I'm gonna
It's gone
cast.
straight.
How many times do I need to cast it to get to my full thing? Because I currently can do it 2 more times.
I will say that you do it 2 more times.
Actually, before Chadrick does it 2 more times, it was a straight line the whole time, right?
It was a relatively straight line. Accounting for wind
Let's
velocity
go-
and unladen swallows, it was a straight line.
Okay,
Let's
so
go
we
in
were,
roughly that direction for a fairly decent while.
and then try it again.
Yes, and see if
So-
it's still a straight line.
What direction am I going in?
appreciate this thing that we're also doing to try to avoid talking over everyone as we all try to declare what we're doing, of also writing it out in the chat. The only downside of this is then we have to go back to the chat and read it out
And
loud
read it.
because this is an audio format. However,
Yes, but we
apparently Hobby is writing piggyback on Mech
Mhm.
because Mech is
Cool, I am
allowing
writing
this.
text.
Mhm.
Tex will sigh
Tex
and
will
agree
sigh
to
and-
carry Chadrick and A because the alternative is Chadrick talking the whole time about how Tex
Talking
is
the
so
whole-
strong and Chadrick's legs are so short. And it's so hard to do all this walking. Chadrick is like slumped over in a half slouch while going, oh.
It's so hard to focus on this spell and walk, and I had to climb a building, and I found so many clues. And I remembered my childhood today. It's been such a long day.
I know how that's like. Every time I remember my childhood, I just sort of stare off into the middle of distance for a while.
I think about how much my dad loved me.
While A is staring off in the middle distance, that's when Tex picks A up and continues to walk down the road.
Fair.
It,
Then
it,
I-
Also-
it takes Chadrick several minutes to realize what's happened.
Okay, Millie laughed at that too. It's canon. I love how this GIF you found has a dog sleeping on top of a red dog house in the background.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
That is a very nice touch.
Very important.
Yes.
Somebody had fun that day on set.
Someone needs to notice this and needs to be pointed out. Witness this.
Yes.
Um,
Witnessed.
Okay, so yeah, so how did you do on that Oh, you did well in that investigation check, Tex.
19.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, understanding that it seems to be mostly going in a straight line, you don't have to keep casting the spell unless you really want to, because
I'll wait a bit.
with the understanding that the streets aren't necessarily allowing you to walk in a straight line, you can still. You've got a map. There was a brochure of like visit scenic Flotsam on this little kiosk thing near the door of the flag headquarters. So you grabbed one of those maps on your way out, and you're.
Mhm.
I'm going to say canonically that's why you're able to look at this map that's in Foundry VTT right now. Also, that coffee stain is canonical as well.
Definitely.
Yes, that or it's a rust
I
stain.
gave you a coffee stain. I gave you a
Could be
coffee
both.
stain earlier up. See the
Yes, I
coffee
saw.
stain up there?
I saw.
Yes. How do I import that?
You need GM rights.
Never
which you
mind.
don't have for this particular one. And I
Ah,
love how we just have Chadrick moving all over the map because we're not really worried about where the characters are.
I don't know
on the
which
map.
direction I'm going. I don't
Draw a
know.
line.
It's
Draw a
I don't
line.
know where we
Ah.
actually started.
the map is moving.
I am not doing that.
as I'm trying to look up to the key, the map keeps moving away from the key. You are all in
Good.
Forge Town, and there's nothing you're doing that's making you leave Forge Town. So you're still hanging out in Forge Town.
So we're like here and then we're zooping up.
You
There's a
could
lot
say
of Forge
that.
Town. It's the dark gray stuff. I'm very worried about someone moving the Tiamat around.
Don't worry about it. The Tiamat is for structural purposes only. By which case, I mean it will destroy the world.
Okay, cool.
We've had a party here before. Is there still a forge in the middle of the road?
No, that was in a
Um,
different town
Yeah, that was in De Perfecta.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
because they were perfectionists and they got mad about not doing the legal paperwork. I
Also,
hired a lawyer.
if I remember correctly, that was right outside of one of their governmental offices. So
Yeah.
there was a lot of traffic right there
Yeah,
that was being held up
Yeah.
by the forge being built in the middle of the street.
yeah, it's a really bad place to choose to break the law.
You
what
say
you
you
get.
broke the law by illegal forgery?
I will take your fish away
Anyways.
from you.
I had to hire a lawyer. I was a child.
Yes, but you're the acting adult.
It was horrible. I had to do character development.
I love that we have a bot created to roll dice that can also be used to slap people with fish for using puns.
Except they're undefined.
Yeah, that must be something that happened when they did the username changeover.
Curses.
Could be.
True.
Oh well. Oh well.
There's this one character named Undefined that's like, why does this keep happening to me?
Why did this happen to me? I made a mistake.
The mistake was being in the same room as a fish. Anyway,
Every move you make, the fish will be following you.
well, that makes it just about as creepy as the original intent of that song.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've been following the trail, and I will say this actually takes you quite a while because there's a lot of circling around, and oh wait, that goes right over top of this large locked and gated building, so we got to go around this building, and wait, no, that's a dead end, walk back this way, go around this way. Okay, now we've made some ground, and there's a lot of that going on. And after, like, you are well into the afternoon at this point, you're still following the straight line of the trail, and you find a scene where there are some guards that are keeping some people away from what looks like a pile of rubble.
That's good. That's good.
Rubble
Oh,
look familiar.
rubble, rubble.
It looks, well, you're in the industrial quarters, so all the rubble has a layer of rust on it at least. Okay, that's a significant amount of rust. And broken shard of metal.
Dirty 20.
And a foot.
A foot?
What?
Yeah, at least 1 foot.
I got a dirty 20 on my
That's why I told you there's a
perception.
foot. Because you see this from a
Oh,
distance
gosh.
away. That might
Let's
be
go
why the
investigate
guards are
it.
keeping people away. There were no guards around the other piles of rubble that you found on your way here.
We should check it out.
Dirty 20. I'm going to convince the guards to let me look.
Okay, I'm going to
Before you
ask
do,
that
I'm gonna
Chadwick
ask you to
replace
get
his
down-
dice.
Before Chadrick does anything, I'm going to ask them to get down from their back carrier.
Fine. Fine. But I
A
look-
9-foot tall murder bot approaches. A paladin riding on top says, "Excuse me, sir. I and my small
Different
kobold
time.
child would like to ask you some questions."
But I do whisper to Tex before we get too close. There's a foot in the rubble. Foot.
Indeed.
Okay, by the way, is it is it like a robotic foot? Is it like
No. No, that's a boot.
organic foot?
Probably.
Do I know what species it's from?
Presumably one
Bipedal.
with feet.
Okay, but like a kobold foot looks different than a human foot.
Yeah, kobolds don't wear boots. That's a boot.
Okay, thank you.
It's about-
That is a level of help.
It's a boot yay big.
Thank you. That's a good one. We should add that to our repertoire.
Which means
Anyway,
they'd probably be a boot yay tall.
Uh-huh.
Chadrick is, A is on it. So
Which-
glad he's my partner in comedy.
A does not understand that this is a joke.
I don't know why it is that I have the only dice working tonight.
Your dice
Yeah,
are
because that's a nat 1
stealing.
for mech investigating.
But yeah, I would like
Me-
to.
Mech is very glad to be surrounded by their friends because they would be lost in this city right now.
Right, exactly.
Okay,
I
Hobby.
think Mech has
Okay,
figured that there's
finally.
something wrong with their, like, I don't know, something wrong with them. Like, codified.
The hard drive needs a
Also,
moment.
Yeah.
with Mech's nat 1 in investigation, Mech has totally lost sight of Hobby altogether.
Because Hobby has disappeared.
Because Hobby
Hobby
has
rolled
a
a
21
stealth
on a
skill.
stealth check. Hobby, what are you doing besides
Oh.
hiding? Don't just say hiding. I know that part.
Sneaking?
No.
I already know that.
While Chadrick is true. Okay, while Chadrick is distracting the guards by asking them questions, Hobby would like to sneak past to do perception or investigation, whichever the GM deems better, on the rubble with the boot.
Okay. So give me an investigation roll
while
while
taking
Chadwick
advantage.
is asking questions.
What's your
Let's see if
favorite
my
color?
dice still my dice
I
are
don't
still
really see why
crap.
that's important right now.
I
I'll-
just thought to get to know you. Okay, sorry.
I'm going to use my inspiration on this. Do I have inspiration? Yes, I have inspiration. I am going to do that investigation again, and let's see if I can make it worse.
No,
Ooh.
you made it better. That's an 18.
Nice. 3 times
Okay.
better.
Okay, yeah, you
Max
find
is
a
also
hand.
going to approach the guards for what it's worth.
But I bring
Yeah.
up the fact I'm talking to the guards. I'm like, hey, we were hired to look into the lost rust, and I was following the trail, and I noticed it comes to this area that you're defending, and I noticed that it looks like some of the materials that we were searching for. Is there any possibility that we could go in, do a little look around? If you want to watch, that's completely fine. I get it, but it would help with us trying to figure out the culprit of this situation.
Okay, so with Tex walking up behind Chadrick, the guard seems way more interested in letting you know what his favorite color is to start.
Chadrick,
9 foot tall
if I
murder
may.
bot.
If I may. I said, Chadrick, if I may.
Oh yeah, sorry. I was I realized you can't see my facial expression or arm movement.
yes.
I was gesturing.
It's
You should
I have-
do so.
so here's just a really quick aside. I have historically from episode 1 felt like doing a video recording would be more trouble than it's worth because the final product is released in audio. But we keep having things happen tonight where I'm thinking getting to see what people are doing visually while we're acting out stuff might actually be useful. I'm not saying we're
Or at
doing
least
video next
hilarious.
time, but now I'm thinking about that.
No.
So Texas said, Chadwick, if I may.
Greetings. We are members of FLAG and have been retained to investigate this issue. Would you like some assistance in sorting and moving this rubble and removing these bodies so that they may be claimed or otherwise treated with respect in the interest of removing the public hazard?
We're actually waiting for a cart to come by to shovel all this onto it and have that go to a coroner, actually.
I understand. May we investigate the pile so that we can see if we can determine a cause?
I'm
radiating my dirty 20. I'm radiating my dirty 20s.
The guard says, I'll have to ask my supervisor. They turn over to another guard that's like maybe 5 feet down the way, having a conversation with somebody about how they're fairly certain that the victim here is not the brother of the person they're talking to, and rifling through their pockets for family heirlooms is not the thing that they're going to allow to happen right now. And also, this is the third time this week that the same person has lost a brother, apparently, in a tragic accident. And the person's going, yes, I know. My mother is devastated. 2 weeks ago, you told me it was your mom that died in a tragic accident. I'm from a non-traditional family.
Fair.
My friend,
fair.
You seem to be losing family members at an alarming rate. I would investigate whether or not you have a curse on you.
A curse?
In the meantime, consider the maxim that once is happenstance, twice is coincidence, but 3 times is enemy action, and act accordingly.
I'm perceiving the lies.
Tex, could you roll an intimidation check for me?
Yeah, that's kind of an intimidating sentence.
I'd like to use my inspiration on that.
Yes. By the way, for the record, saying you would like to use your inspiration, making me laugh, does not automatically refresh your inspiration. That's not a preview.
However, like a moving of the goalposts.
Well, it's my goalpost, and I can move it if I want to. And that's a 22. So this person doesn't immediately look intimidated, but that's because the gears are moving somewhat slowly after you use some very big words, some of them using 2 syllables. Now, they used more than 2 syllables as well, but still, they're not used to someone interacting with them that way that isn't a guard who read that in a script somewhere. And when they realize exactly what you meant by those words, they find that they are very late for an appointment they didn't mention earlier.
Wild.
I thought that might be the case.
Before they disappear, though.
Chandra's gonna pick their pockets.
No. Before you even did the intimidation, I did a perception check for a 21 to see exactly how fidgety they were, because Lord knows they're lying.
Can't you read surface thoughts?
I can do that too, yes. But I was trying to D&D it. Gosh.
I mean, the D&D rules let you read surface thoughts. But also, yes, this person was almost certainly not on the up and up.
No, so yeah, I want to know what's their dealio, what's their sitch, what are they hiding?
What they were hiding was they wanted to pick the pockets of the deceased for loose change, whether or not they were mostly dead.
Opportunistic.
Okay, I was worried because they seem to keep arriving wherever there's a dead body or something, that maybe they were partially
responsible. Fair.
The guards will fill you in that this person is not suspected of killing anyone. They don't think they have the guts to do that. But
that's fair.
If it's already a dead body, like they've been, most of the times they've been caught doing something with petty thievery.
That's fair. So yeah, I feel like I probably buttered them up enough.
Oh yeah, this instance of Tex reminding somebody that they had an appointment, that's a valuable service. And as a reward, if you want to rifle through the deceased pockets, you may.
I'm going to rifle through the whole rubble pile.
It looks like if you touch it, you will need to make a saving throw versus tetanus.
With Tex.
So by rifle, you mean supervise the rifling.
Yes.
By using my amazing eagle eyes that I apparently have, I would like
I will happily be the one to rifle through the rubble and sort it into a more manageable
Yes, but I would also like to look at that man's pockets. Not so much to take it, unless he had like a ton of gold, but just to see if he had anything of that could possibly be related.
Or
He has a
identify.
half-eaten sandwich
Yes.
and a few coppers.
Okay. Well,
That's
that's not very
tragic.
helpful.
Yeah.
It's tragic. I don't suppose the victim is at all recognizable. Species?
They're human. It looks like they died mostly from lots of cuts from this jagged metal pile falling on them.
That's a really depressing way to die.
Yeah.
No magic rings or anything on them?
No. And the supervisor is talking to you while this is happening. Because the supervisor didn't say, oh, yeah, you can go ahead and investigate and walk off. They're still there. They still have a job to do. And if you are temporarily
supervising.
deputized, then they're not going to get in trouble for this.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, I turn to them and I'm like, hey, so how long after this happened did you guys arrive on scene?
From what we can tell, it probably happened last night.
Okay.
We got here
Gotcha.
a little bit after lunch.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you. Thing is that
It's a shame this has been
The
happening
trail
more
that we've-
often.
yeah, the trail
What?
we've been
What's
That's
been
really-
happening more often?
Oh, you know, things falling down. Did you see the chimney this morning?
yes, we did.
yeah.
So yeah, as
Yeah.
I was saying,
So every now and then
What
What
something
fell on
collapses.
this person?
Can I-
don't
can
know,
I-
probably something on their roof.
Yes.
By the way, this is
yeah,
canon that this conversation is happening over top of Chadwick trying to ask questions.
I'm trying to do a good job.
Chadwick, what are you trying to ask?
I'm trying to say, yeah. So the thing is that we were following a trail of this rubble that is going over the rooftops. It's, knowing that people have been having things falling on them like this seems pretty in line. We're trying to follow it to its source. Do you maybe know where the other sort of fall incidences have happened?
The guard takes a look and sees that A currently has the brochure out because for some reason A was your navigator, probably just to give A something to
I
do
mean,
as
that's
A
probably
wrote
for the
text.
best.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, there was one over here. There's one over here. 2 people got hurt over here. None of these form a line. They're all in the factory district, but none of them are like you can't connect the dots and get a straight line here.
Do any of them, do they triangulate to an area?
I mean, they're all relatively nearby this spot.
That's probably going from each factory in a direct straight line. Lord knows it probably isn't smart enough to figure out how to do a not entirely straight line.
If we wait. If we put basically straight lines through each of the points, is there any way to make them intersect on the same spot?
I mean, you can get the map with all of the red yarn going to any spot you want.
That's very true. It's not like it's 2 spots. It's
We have one spot. We have one line that we know. Wait. We have one line that we know for sure.
Yeah, we
So
have
if we
one-
make
Yes,
a
Ellie,
line-
that GIF.
Yeah, so-
that GIF specifically.
Yes, that GIF. That's the
Here we
regular
go.
GIF. Yep.
Here we go.
But if we know that we know one line, so is there any location that the other lines could be made to triangulate on, or we're just gonna have to go through this whole line, aren't we?
Yeah, it's going to be a mess.
Why don't you cast
Well,
the spell again and see if it's still going in a
let's-
straight line? I guess.
I love how lines have been drawn all over the map now.
Yeah, I was doing that. Yeah.
Well, let's put it this way. Right now, you are here, right where A is on the map.
Okay. Thank you.
This particular hex. I am important. I am serving a useful purpose. I'm a map marker.
Yes.
By the way, this
Excellent.
works breaking the 4th wall and also in context because A has placed their claw of one finger like right at the map where they are. Like we are
Perfect.
We
here.
love A. We love A so
A has
much.
poked a hole through the map at that spot. So if A lets go of the map, it's still
Love
just
it.
going to be hanging off of A's claw. But never mind about that. I mean, there's a whole stack of them because no one wants to tour Flotsam. See the majestic harbor that smells like the city sewers because that's where we let it all flow out. See the factories, 99% made out of recycled material, built from what was left over
See
when
Flag
the last
headquarters.
factory collapsed. See Flag headquarters.
See Flag
You're
headquarters.
in it right now. The only
Yeah.
building guaranteed to never burn down. We made sure. Stop asking. Meanwhile, Monty says, well, I'm not entirely sure it's 100% burn proof, but I've been told to stop trying. Anyway, so imagine, if you will, that we're looking at that one hex that A is in. All of the stuff fell on top of people and killed them accidents have happened inside this hex.
Yes.
Okay, that is certainly some useful information.
That is suspicious. I'm going to cast my spell again.
The factories that were hit, that you've investigated, were where Tex is right now and where Chadwick is right now.
I'm moving.
They were not... Yes, I moved you. Those were not the only factories hit. Those were the two that you investigated. Those were the two most recent.
So we have Boop, and then we have Boop. I can't draw
You
a
are
straight line.
enjoying this drawing tool.
Yes,
I'm not upset.
And I'm using
Can
it.
we triangulate on those?
And I realized I should have used
Yeah.
the Tarask and the Tiamat as map markers. So that would have been super funny.
But they were very high up.
But yeah, I
They're
used
big.
the locate object again to see where it is from where we are.
Okay. Yeah, you've got a continuation of the straight line that goes.
It still goes 1,000 feet in that direction.
It goes 1,000 feet in the direction you've come from. It goes less than that in the other direction.
We'll follow it to the end then.
Okay.
Follow it to the other direction.
Yeah, like, the shorter part.
Okay. As you do that, see, I'm looking for a thing. I know, not a thing. Yes, a thing.
Before we leave, one small bit of trivia is that Hobby is going to do a small prayer over the body.
Okay. One of the guards does let you
Because-
know that the person has been identified. Their name was Barney.
Barney Rubble.
Yeah.
That is not his last name.
It is now.
And just because after the spot on the form for first name is a spot for cause of death, does not mean that makes his name be his cause of death. But yes, the form does say Barney Rubble.
That's what I thought.
Okay.
And that's a real last name below his first name, no
So
doubt.
in other words, yeah, so it'd be like Barney, comma, Rubble, like names, comma, cause of death.
Something like that. Anyway, I'm too far away for you to hit me with a fish. There's too many fourth
And the
walls
fish-
between you and me, even though I keep breaking them.
And the fish command keeps not working quite right.
Yes, undefined is my shield. My unwilling shield. Fun fact from Ellie, we don't really know where the word rubble comes from. It might be related to the word rubbish, but we just don't know. Well, apparently it comes from up high, because, fell and killed that guy.
It's true.
One of the guards is like, no, this stuff has just been falling off of rooftops. Like, everything collapses around here. And this is probably some piece of
Maybe.
machinery that was built on the roof.
Then why is it the walls next to it all? How messed up are the walls next to it?
Not at all. This is a factory that makes ceramics.
Well, think something flying dropped some of its loot. Let's keep looking for the thing. After doing a quick, brief, somewhat religious prayer over the body, and
Okay. So you do
we'll
that,
find it.
and you toss Occam's razor to the wind and insist that it's a flying monster that's dropping rubble on top of people.
Seems probable, or at least this one is. The
Yes.
others might be perfectly normal, and yet.
Okay.
And yet.
So you get to right around where the trail seems to end, and you are not in a factory. You are in a pre-factory or a post-factory. There's buildings around you, but this is a construction site.
You know what I'm about to do? Perceive.
Oh my god, I want you to
A 26.
Chadrick!
With a 26,
Really?
you perceive that for a construction site, there's a lot of small piles of rust everywhere, and the construction equipment doesn't seem to have been used a lot recently.
Hey, Tex, Vex. Sorry, I'm never gonna not call you guys Tex-Mex when saying it together.
The best name
Tex-Mex.
jokes are the ones that weren't planned when the characters were named.
Mhm.
Looking at you, Gox and Socks.
So I think this is where they're bringing it. As some folks who can't get tetanus, can you guys look?
How about there's one little problem with the not getting tetanus? If
Yeah?
we're chasing rust monsters, gesture.
Okay, but let's not invite it into our lives before we get to that point.
I don't think we want to invite rust monsters into Tex and Mech's lives.
I am not composed substantially of iron.
I am not either.
Also, can't you get rid of rust with alcohol?
It's true. I haven't used my jugs ability yet to make the tea. I'm planning on doing that when we get back. How
I mean,
about
also me.
how about I shove things around with my mage hand cantrip?
You know what? That sounds great. I can't really do anything right now.
Give me just point to where the trail ends, and I will start shoving things around.
Kind of
From
just
30
wave
feet
my
away.
arms around.
The trail ends all over here.
Yeah, I'm just kind of waving. I'm like,
Like,
this space.
You know how if you're drawing a line with a marker and then you stop but you don't take the marker off the page, you get a larger spot?
Ah.
The larger
Yeah,
spot
so like right
is find
here.
object.
Like, here's the circle that we're in. I'm like,
So remember when I said you were late afternoon?
Yeah.
I'm going
Is
to
this
say
evening?
you spent considerable time investigating the body and talking to the guards and all that. So yeah, it's starting to be evening, and I'm going to say
Dark
for
vision!
thematic reasons, because of
Yeah.
all the factories, there's enough atmospheric stuff in the air to justify this map that I found that I couldn't find a daytime scene for. We're going to do the nighttime scene.
Perfect.
Okay.
I
Oh,
have
that's
dark vision. I'm useful.
I
I have dark vision too.
What do I have? I have blind sight.
Yes. I
the
can click
sneaky
on
people,
all of
yes.
your characters and see how far that each of you can see. And I click on Tex, not much of anything. Mech, not much of anything. Hobby and A. Yeah, you can see pretty far. Chadrick, you can see pretty far. And then I click on Chadrick, and it's this teeny little circle.
It's a very good circle.
Yes, it's
Aw.
it's better than the robots can see.
It's my little circle of perfect vision.
Yes.
I can see through things.
Yes, you can see through things. And as you start venturing into this construction area, you hear a screech sound. It
I don't
sounds
like that.
half like metal being shredded and half like something large being very upset.
I take off running
Which
And
way?
that's
Yeah, where?
toward it.
and that's where we're going to end it for tonight.
Oh wow.
Man, I don't think my dice will be as good next time.
You're
I'm really
freaking
hoping,
right.
for everyone's sake, that everyone else's dice are better.
Yes.
Oh
Post
my
all of the
gosh.
dice.
This was fun. Thank you everyone for playing. Thank you everyone for listening. Tonight I was joined by a bunch of awesome
Thanks.
people, including Beth, Ellie, Millie, Jen. Eo had to leave earlier. Who wants to plug a thing?
Eo's mom writes books, Elizabeth-McCoy.com, and I don't think I have it up yet, but there's Pride and Prejudice, which is Jane Austen, everyone turns into large cats. And it's fairly cheap, and you can get like at the Zon Empire, Amazon, and Nook, and Kobo, and Smashwords, and ask your library to order the ebook through Overdrive and that kind of thing. And speaking of books,
My website is Book of 10 at bookoften.net. It's got a lot of Diablo stuff on it. I've always had a lot of Diablo stuff on it, but there's other things too, depending on what I feel like writing about. So that's at bookofgen.net. I'm also the host of the Shattered Soulstone podcast, which talks about the Diablo games mostly. Again, because we're done talking about can Microsoft acquire Activision Blizzard now. So so you can find a new show every Saturday, and it's at shit.com. That's about it.
And speaking of websites,
I run a Mastodon instance called elek.xyz. That's elekk.xyz. It is a Schrodinger's federated site. So in other words, you can choose who can see the site and can choose who cannot see the site, which is really nifty to keep the bad folks out. And yeah, it's a bunch of geeky nerds who aren't rude to each other. Who's next?
that would be
Speaking
me.
of Patreons.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, you're speaking about Patreons? Well, speaking of Patreons, we have one. Did you know that we have a Patreon? At patreon.com/cogwheelgaming, you can help us keep the lights on. along with other illustrious patrons, including Chris, Ellie, Eric, Shen, Walter, and patron emeritus Cindy. And until next time, this is Scratch saying, why does Tex always run in the wrong direction?
And are you
Good.
still riding on his shoulders?
Yes.
You know what? I'm going to say probably, because no, this is funnier.
Hang on.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.